Awesome. Well, welcome back to EpICMavs, everybody. We're so excited to have you here this week. My name is Devin Peplow, and I have the honor of introducing our guest today, Lauren Acton. She is the marketing director at Tech Fort Worth, and she's going to be building a website in 60 minutes. So I don't want to take up any of her minutes. I'm going to pass it over to her, but welcome, Lauren.
Thanks, Devin. Hello, everyone. I realized when I said 60 minutes, it's going to have to be less since this whole talk is 60 minutes. So up to the challenge. So what I kind of wanted to do with y'all is actually build it in front of you. This will be saved to my knowledge, and you can go back through it later. But I did a talk in EpICMavs recently on branding, and I think that one was more broad overview, and this one is going to be a little bit more tactical, like how do I actually do it? So those taken together, I think, can be really helpful for you as an entrepreneur. And lastly, I think it's really important as an entrepreneur to have just the pride of having a website, and I think it just makes your business that much more real. And just, I think it's important to get that minimum viable product website where it's like, it looks good, it exists, it's here. So that's kind of what I'm going to be going through with y'all. So I'm going to share my screen. If you'll give me a moment. Alrighty. Okay. Can y'all see that?
Yep, it looks great to us.
Wonderful. So I can't see myself, but that's okay. So spoiler alert, the platform I like to use, and this would not be the solution for a huge organization or corporation or anything, but for a startup, I think Wix is the best option, if you've heard of it. One of the reasons being it lets you design for both desktop and mobile. And that's obviously so important in today's world, where tons of people are finding out about you on mobile. And I just think it has that great balance of giving you the flexibility of creating your site how you want it to look, but also gives you some good templates to start from. So before I go into building it, the first thing I would normally advise before you build it is go ahead and get your domain name. So I won't show you how to do that, but it's super easy. You just go on to GoDaddy, search for the domain you want, and it's normally like $2 to $12. And then I can show you how you would connect it later. But that's normally the first step I take before building a website. So without further ado, I'm going to pretend that I'm you and that you are just coming in here blind, ready to start. So I am going to create a new site. And by the way, if you guys have questions throughout, feel free to stop me if you don't understand anything. So it's going to let you choose a template. So let's go ahead and choose a template. Gonna have to be a little patient. Okay, cool. It's coming through. Let's see. I think this is going to be a good one. When you're looking through templates, just personal preference, I like to choose ones where the navigation has like a photo in the background, like this. Y'all can see my mouse, right?
Lauren?
Yeah.
Will this have the ability to sell anything? Will it be a store?
It can. So Wix allows you to set up a store if you so desire.
Are you going to do that today?
Oh, I'm not going to show you how to set up the store. Sorry, about just the website.
Okay.
Sorry to
Okay.
disappoint. But anyways, so I think this is a good template. So let's go ahead and choose it. Alrighty. It's gonna lag a little with the video and also me having this, so just feel free to ask questions in the meantime. But yeah, I don't even work for Wix, but I could rave about them all day because I've tried others that have been a nightmare. So very loyal customer. Sorry. This might be a minute.
Lauren, this is Casey. I have a quick question while we're waiting.
Yeah, hello.
Hey there. Thanks for sharing with us today. I was wondering, when picking a template, do you ever think through like the end goal of the website and user experience? How does that play into what type of template you might choose? Could you speak a little to that?
Yeah, absolutely. So typically different templates will come with different functionalities. So right now I'm just basing it off of aesthetics, but you know, if you know you're going to have like a blog on your website, some templates will come with like a really robust like blog setting, where others won't come with it. And for instance, whoever asked about e-commerce, some templates will say like, oh, this is great for e-commerce, this isn't. So yeah, that's kind of, when you look through the description, it'll tell you kind of what it's made.
Awesome.
Thank
you.
Uh-huh.
It does. Thank you.
Let me see. Let's try to load this again. Well, if this doesn't work, friends, then let's try to go to the mock one that I had. Don't y'all love technology? OMG. Okay, I think it's gonna come, y'all. Any other website questions while we wait?
Lauren, I have a question. Can you hear me?
Yes.
What do you like most about Wix? Like, why choose Wix out of other website builders?
Yeah. Who's asking this, by the way? Sorry, I can't see. Oh, Sarah.
Sarah.
Hey.
Sarah's Spain.
Yeah. So I'd say it gives you the most design flexibility, but is also really user friendly. So it lets you create for desktop as well as mobile. I've used Squarespace in the past, but it just like, it's really limiting in how it lets you just put different elements on the page in different spots. Like, it's just super limiting. And then WordPress is just a monster, and can really just break down really quickly. Like if you make one little small error. So yeah, that one's tricky. Which one do y'all use now, Sarah?
I use Wix, and just sometimes I have little difficulties with it. Overall, I would say it's pretty user friendly, but
yeah,
I would say like aligning stuff, I have a hard time aligning stuff sometimes.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, we can work on that. Sorry, you guys, I really have this lens. Maybe if I stop my screen and then come back, do you think?
Yeah, Lauren, I was going to say that you might stop sharing and then load it and then share again.
Yeah. Sorry, friends. I think with Teams and this website, it's just like, it doesn't like me.
Yeah, you're good. And Lauren, maybe if you want to turn off your video component too, I know that sometimes helps.
Okay, maybe.
Yeah.
Let's see. Sorry, y'all. I don't know why that's always happening. If anyone else wants to introduce themselves or anything while we wait, go ahead.
Yeah. Oh, go
I
ahead,
was saying
Andrew.
that I've used I'm using Wix now for my website, thechalkreport.com. I've been very pleased with it, and I've used it basically as a daily blog. And if you use something like that, it's much easier to use than something like WordPress, which is a much bigger commitment to make.
Right.
I haven't used it yet for e-commerce, which is why I asked you about that, because my next site will be basically one to sell my product, and that was why I was asking about that.
Okay, gotcha.
On that one, I would like to give my opinion on Wix and also Shopify. Yes,
Yeah.
you can sell your product on Wix. We start with Wix for the Aspen Thai Traveler. It did work fine for a while, and I love Wix. However, like there were one time that people try to buy our product with iPhone, and they could not complete the transaction. I don't know what's wrong with Wix by that time. So that was the reason why we have to port everything from Wix to Shopify. But in general, I would say Wix is a lot more user friendly in general. Yeah. Or if we don't have that transaction problem, I don't think I would use Shopify over Wix.
Right. Yeah. And I can't speak as much to e-commerce because I just haven't done as much e-commerce. But you know, there's a chance maybe the mobile wasn't edited correctly or something like that. But we are live. Can y'all see it?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So this is kind of just a bare bones template here in Wix that I've already kind of played around with a little bit, but some things to start off with is I want to talk about the structure of Wix. So you have a page background. Let's see if we can find it. That's a strip. Okay, and I normally like to turn it white so you kind of have an idea of what your background is. And something really important to note is that for the construction of Wix sites, they use what they call strips. So a strip is essentially just a section. So every section of your website will be a strip. And your text, photos, everything will be on top of that strip. So it helps you kind of stay organized. Let's first talk about the homepage because obviously everyone's going to want a homepage. So what I kind of like to do is they have these kind of guardrails here. You see these like dotted lines. I think it kind of works best if you stay within those lines. And so right here is what's called the hero image. So anything on the hero image, you want it to be what they call above the fold. So you don't want like this text or anything to be kind of hanging below. You want like your first H1, this header, and H2 to be right here. And just a couple kind of design things. Typically, I would say you're gonna want to left align it. That's it's not a hard and fast rule, but just based on readability and how humans' eyes work, it works better left to right. That's how people process info. So typically I suggest aligning left because that's how people will read it. But I think some design rules can be broken and sometimes centering it is okay. So let's see. Like I said, here, I kind of want to put my video back on. Okay, that's better. So I think it looks best having a photo here as the hero image. So how you can change that is you click this strip. Okay. And you change strip background. And it lets you choose whatever images or colors that you want. Unfortunately, I might have to turn my video off because it's going slower now. So, yeah. Sorry, it's super slow. Okay, so I like using an image for that hero image part. And so here's this like nice yoga one. And let's say, so another design thing I like to say is like, I think white text on dark backgrounds look a lot better than the reverse. So you can act like, here I'm editing this image background. It just disappeared. Let's see. So you can actually change the opacity here. See how that like turned it nice and dark? So now the white text pops on it and it looks great. And typically I like to put whatever your logo is here in the top left. Let's just pretend this is your logo. Okay. Okay. That's just my personal opinion. And then just a little bit on the copy here. Again, just my personal opinion. I think this H1 text, what they call it, it's really tempting to want to put exactly what your company does, like just telling and spelling it out right there. But from what I've read, in that big text there, you're going to want to put something that's like a little bit more inspiring and more storytelling than just point blank telling what you do. So for instance, like my fate company here is I don't know, some technology that allows you to see. So I put granting you the gift of sight. And then in the second one, I think that's a better place for you to describe exactly what your company does. Like they've engineered these perfect glasses, blah, blah, blah. So I think that's kind of my synopsis for the hero image. And I'm always a huge proponent of white space. If you see over here with this guy, there's a lot of breathing room, which is just easy on the eye. So going down on the homepage, I personally think the second piece of your homepage should have some sort of social proof or testimonial of some sort. So either logos of companies you work with, or another great example is if you have some good numbers, like, oh, we've helped 10 companies, we've raised $2 million, blah, blah, blah. Fast facts like that are really great and can show the person visiting your website like immediately, just lost my train of thought, that you're trustworthy. So anyways, okay, checking time. So then going down, typically what I advise, so there's a strip here, okay? So we're gonna be building on top of that. So next, I would typically add kind of like a little bit more context as to what your business does, like probably in paragraph form, like here. And Sarah, like you said, it's a little tricky, like lining it up sometimes, but if I use these guides, it can be pretty good. So I would add some, like a little bit more about the company, maybe a little bit about its history, etc., in this paragraph. And, you know, like a header probably. And if I'm moving too fast and you're like, oh my gosh, wait, how'd you do that? Just let me know. So that's kind of what I do for these sections. And then, so explainer, and then moving on, the next strip, so let's go ahead and add one so that you kind of know what that looks like. Let's just add this plain black one. So it's going to go right below the one I just made. And this is kind of where I would probably, you know, it's going to depend and differ depending on what your industry is. But this is where I'd put your like products or services right below kind of that little explainer. So like, what are your 3 main differentiating factors or services, like I said. So that might be a good place to put like something like this, where it's like that you can just drag over, and it's going to take a little bit to load. It's like, here's 3 little options there. So that's a really good place for your services, like I said. And then typically, we'll move on from the homepage in a sec, but after product services, that's when I probably in this next section would add a testimonial of some sort. So a picture of someone who used your service, maybe like a Amazon review, some sort of really strong testimonial here. Yeah, so it's not cooperating. Okay. Yeah, so that's where I'd add that. And then that's probably a good rule of thumb is like you don't want a super long homepage. Probably I would keep it to like 5 sections. So like you have hero, these little logos, a little explainer, products, testimonial, and then you'll have your footer here. So that's kind of a broad overview of homepage. And then the next thing I want to talk about is designing on mobile. So, which is obviously super important and something you always want to check before your site goes live. So that's, you're going to click that right here. Hopefully it doesn't take 1,000 years to move over. Hooray. So thankfully it lined it up pretty good here. And you know, it won't always do it perfectly. So sometimes you have to like see how my logo just like dropped down for whatever reason. So, you know, sometimes you'll have to rearrange it a bit. Yeah, so logo's back. And just a really quick thing. So like Wix can get finicky. A very big rule of thumb, don't ever change the height of this header or it messes everything up. Just keep that in your back pocket. If you want to change the height of this ever, then just you toggle this up and down to slide it. If you want it a little bit shorter, a little bit longer, you're going to want to move the strip and not this header piece. Okay. So boom, see here, I centered it because I think on mobile, sometimes centered looks better. I don't know. So moving along, here it lets you delete any white space that pops up. Here is looking good. And then here you see it's like too close to the side. So you might want to kind of bump this over and it'll tell you when you're centered. So, it doesn't always cooperate, but it does for the most part. Let's see. So yeah, like I said, sometimes it gets a little wonky, but you just kind of have to roll with it. Delete some space. Okay, that's looking pretty good. So these services got like bumped off of they're strips. So, you know, gonna have to, you can like move those back on. And thankfully it just like lets you resize everything. Because with these containers, you can resize those in theory, but first I need to change. Sometimes the image doesn't let you. Ah! And keep in mind, you have to have a lot of patience if you want to do this because it can be a little crazy. But hopefully just watching me do this, if you run into any of these issues, you'll be able to see like, oh, what did she do? So you kind of have to move over all of those elements. And once they're all moved over, you can resize the whole section. And then let's say we want it on that black thing. Anyways, and then, so like I said, everything's going to be on top of the strip. So you're going to want to adjust this until it's covering your entire services situation here. So, and then you have footer, exciting. Okay, so that's mobile. So let's go back really quick to desktop. The next thing I want to touch on is navigation. So best practices is you don't want a ton of navigation options. Like this one's kind of perfect, having like maybe 4 in navigation. If you don't know my terminology, just let me know. But navigation is up here, these 4 clickable buttons. That's a good amount because humans can get overwhelmed with too many options and then they'll just click off. So the more you can simplify it, the more people are going to stay on your page. So I think home is really great. Actually, no, home is not great. Normally, you're going to want to take, okay, so this is how you go and look at all of your pages, okay? These are all of our pages right now. And this will change your nav. So you're actually not going to want a home, so let's delete it. Okay, delete. And yeah, the reason for that is you just, sorry. Ah! Okay, it's finally deleted. Oh yeah, here's the about page. Okay, you actually don't need it. Wait, did I just delete the whole, oh my gosh. I meant to just delete the nav. Oops. See, this is a work in progress. Okay, let's just ignore that. So you're gonna want an about. Solutions is good. This will be kind of like your products, services, whatever. And then blog is a good one as well. And then you're probably going to want one button here. So whatever your like most important call to action is, you're going to want it there. Like for us, we have at Tech Fort Worth, we have 2. We have like a contact us and a donate button. So yeah, you're going to want to choose wisely there. Let's see. Trying to think what else. I think that's the main overview. I think it'd be helpful to open up for questions a little bit earlier than usual so that I can like show you anything that you're concerned about, if anyone has any. And if not.
Lauren, this
okay.
is Casey again. I'm wondering about copyright. So I saw how you were choosing the hero images and they had like a library of stock photos. Are there any copyright issues with using them? Do you have full freedom to use them throughout your Wix site? How does that work?
Yeah, don't quote me on this, but to my knowledge, anything that's like accessible within Wix you can use with no copyright infringement or anything like that. I think they do have some Shutterstock ones that you had to pay for to get the copyright, but to my knowledge, everything in there is fair game. So yeah, great question.
Awesome. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I also use Unsplash a lot. I don't know if anybody's familiar with that website, but it's like free pictures that are posted by the photographers. So they pretty much let you use their photos as long as you just tag them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think on Unsplash, you don't even have to tag them. You can just use whatever. So that is a really great resource. Yeah, any other questions on website construction, design, or like different elements? If you're wondering for your site, like, should I put this on my site but not this, etc. Yeah, anything like that.
I will see the other element that you might not see it, but it's very important, is the Google Analytic tracking number.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that is important. That's something you'll do on the back end. If anyone wants me to show you how to do that, I can. But yeah, that's a really great point. That's really important.
Yes, please. If you could show us quickly how you do that, Lauren,
yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. We will get rid of this really quick. So sorry, it takes forever. Okay, so I believe it's here in, let's see. I think it's in either settings or marketing. Maybe it's in marketing. Integrations, I believe. Okay, cool. So yeah, this is like Serena said, really important. So this is where you're going to connect it. So this will kind of allow you to get insight on who's visiting your page, how many site views you get, etc. So this is where you're going to do it, and you're just, it's really easy. You just connect it right there. Since I don't have a paid site, it's not going to let me, but you'll just have that little code. I think it's like GA, and then it has like 12 digits, and you'll just plop it in right there. So hopefully that helps, but that's where you do it.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Any other website questions? And if you guys have any, I can answer any, like if you have any SEO questions, or lead generation, anything like that, I can answer that as well.
When you're creating the header paragraphs, should you be looking at SEO and like key terms to get more attention to your site, or how does that work?
Yes, absolutely. So I'll kind of show you what to look for here in a second. This loads, but I can explain it first before I show it. So essentially, thankfully with Wix, it lets you indicate if something's going to be in H1 or H2. And essentially what that tells Google is that, okay, this copy is really important. So let's say, Let's say you wanted to rank for the term like startup in Texas or something. Then there it is. And you can indicate, let's see here. The header tag. So that's where you do that. Is, you know, H1 is like telling Google, like, this is super, super important. This is a keyword I want to rank for. But sometimes your keyword is not something that you're going to want to be like front and center, if that makes sense. Because it might not be like a sexy keyword, if that makes sense. So like, let's say you might want to like write it in a smaller thing. Startups in Texas. And then see, size-wise, it's an H4. I don't know if that makes sense to y'all, but just track with me. And then here, see, right now, the heading tag is paragraph, which is not what you want. So you can keep the same size of that font, but change it to H1. So Google will say, okay, even though that's really small text, that's what I need to be concentrating on. So then you can make this a little more like appealing, like join my fun startup or something, which isn't your keyword, but like something that will, you know, inspire a little bit more. And then you can change this to like a paragraph or H4 so that Google isn't paying as much attention to that. Does that make sense? If not, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it definitely makes sense. Do you have any tips on like where you would find like those special words for your business?
Yes, absolutely. So one of my favorite ones, and it actually lets you use a free trial if you want to try it, is called Ubersuggest. And it's really nice because it shows you like what keywords people are actually searching for. For instance, on Ubersuggest, I found out that for Tech Fort Worth, more people were searching for business accelerator than they were for startup accelerator. So I decided to use business accelerator a little bit more in the copy because that's how people were searching for it. And like, you never know until you look it up, because I thought people would search it as startup accelerator, you know. So that's a really good tool, Ubersuggest, and you can use it for free. And it also kind of shows you, you know, how people are finding your website currently with what keywords and things like that. So that's kind of my suggestion for that. Any others?
I don't know if you can see the chat or not, but I think I pulled up the right site. I dropped a link in the chat.
I had a question, Lauren. This is Trey.
Mm-hmm.
Where can you go to find out information on your website after you have it posted out there? If you wanted to see how many hits you've received within the past month?
Yeah. So for that, you're going to want to go to Google Analytics. Are you familiar with what that is?
Yeah, I know there's 2 or 3 of them out there that do it. I can't remember. There's another popular one that tries to attract startups. I can't remember off the top of my head.
Mm-hmm.
But is one of the presenters to the accelerator I went through over the summer. I'm sorry, I'm kind of brain dead right now.
Oh, you're fine. But yeah, I would use Google Analytics for that. That would be my best bet. Any other website questions?
I just want to bring it up. Right now, Wix doesn't allow using gift card yet. So let's say if you sell gift card, people cannot use the gift card code or whatever to redeem the merchandise you sell on your website. So they do not have capability just yet right now.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, that's really good to know for anyone who's e-commerce and wants to use gift cards. Keep that in mind.
Does anybody have their own website? Anyone else?
Yep.
Yes, we do.
Me too.
Can y'all tell us about it?
I keep it in a cage and just feed it rarely so it doesn't get too angry.
That's funny.
For the websites that y'all have built on your own, did you go to somebody or did you do it like completely on your own, like on Wix or GoDaddy? Did you have help from somebody outside?
I built mine completely on my own. And so, yeah, it's one of those where you can tell. But I'm trying to think of like one feature that I really liked on mine was we added in not like a subscribe, but kind of like a subscription down at the bottom, like if you wanted to keep up to date with our updates. And so if they filled in their name and their email, they get added to an automatic like emailing list. So that was a cool function. I think we're going to switch over to Wix soon, though. I think I built ours on Squarespace. But yeah, it's not very user-friendly or cute.
Yeah.
The other feature that I like a lot on Wix also it allows the user or the customer to create the account. Like for example, we have the studio for people to rent. Let's say if you come and want to rent the studio space from us, you can rent as the guest, or you can also create your own account in my website. If you create your account, it will keep all the transaction in your all the transaction in your account. At the same time, it will also allow you to move your time out, things like that. So it gives you more flexibility. And that is very easy to set up, and I don't have to be involved at all. Just the user come in and they just create their own account. At the same time, I also have access to the data on the account as well.
That's cool. Love it. And just some other tips I would give if you guys are looking to embark on building a website for your startup is something really big is if you haven't set up Google My Business, that's something you're going to want to set up. It's pretty easy, but it gives you a lot of SEO pull. So, you know, even if your site hasn't been around for a while, it'll kind of bring you to the top of Google right away. So that's something I always recommend, just so y'all know.
I have a question on that. Actually, you said it's gonna help with the SEO. How could it help? Like, if we have the Google business, will it bring us up to the top of the list just because we have the Google business account, or what?
Yeah, it helps more with local companies. I don't know if it would help as much in your case, but one way that it does help is like if people give you reviews on Google My Business, like, for instance, let's say someone was like, oh, I bought an incredible diaper bag from this website, in a review of Move, then if someone types in diaper bag, it'll pull up that review that someone gave. And that's through Google My Business, if that makes sense. It's hard to show it when I'm not showing it on the screen, but there are just a lot of benefits to having it. So if you don't, I would definitely recommend it.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, we do have Google Business for our studio. Yeah, but I never know that it also help boosting the SEO.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it does. Yeah, and if any of y'all are brave enough to tell me your website, if anyone wants website suggestions, I can give that, or any other questions y'all have.
My name's Lyric, and I believe I posted my link in the chat, and I would love your feedback simply because it is so new. I do use GoDaddy, which I think you guys have mentioned various items, but it does the gift cards. I think that it probably could be more customizable for the e-commerce portion, which is something I'm working on. Like I said, very, very new. And but I guess my question is, I had to go with the .net because when choosing my website name, like the .coms were unavailable. Is there any issue, like, or is that just a perception thing?
I'm trying to go to yours. Unbox. Okay, so, okay, what's your company?
Well, it's unboxed. It's greeting cubes instead of like gift boxes. It's just celebration type. So yeah, I've had trouble like really narrowing down to those keywords, but GoDaddy did help. And the main one was like gifts or gift giving or gifts. And so I added that in for SEO purposes, but I still don't feel like it's there.
Let me see. Love it. So yeah, unfortunately, weirdly, like .net is kind of like a older one. I feel like if so you said .com was taken?
For that particular, yeah, for like that whole unboxed gifts type, like those words in there, yeah, it was all taken. But yeah, we can sidebar. I don't want to take everybody's time. I just wanted to mention that GoDaddy was what I was using, and it wasn't having some of those weird issues y'all were having. And it seemed like the mobile would update the same as the website too. So that portion seemed to be kind of good. But again, it's like it started at like mid-February. So.
Yeah. Yeah, it stinks when the .com is taken, but I feel like a more modern one is .io. A lot of people use, or you can also do like unboxed.gifs or something like that. Just
okay.
Some other options, but
perfect.
Yeah.
So it's not too late to go back in and tweak that and change it.
Oh no, you can change your domain at any time for sure. You just have to put in a 301 redirect. And if you don't know what that is, we can talk about that later. But
perfect. Well, I do appreciate it. It was very helpful. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Any other questions?
Someone had asked, is Wix free? Yes, it is. But I think the free version, it only shows, or it'll show the Wix logo, which you probably don't want. But I think the cheapest monthly version is like $10 a month or something. So it's really not too bad. It does not break the bank. So.
Gonna run. Thanks a lot.
Okay, bye.
Appreciate it. Bye-bye.
Okay, well, if there's no other questions for Lauren, then I'm not going to keep you holding on. Next week, we have spring break. So If you guys would like to, you can go into the Teams files and look at all of our recorded meetings. You can catch up on any of the ones that you've missed. They're all in there. And then we'll meet in 2 weeks. So y'all enjoy your spring break, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks. Thank you so much, Lauren. I've learned a lot.
Good. I'm so glad. Y'all have a great rest of your day.
Thank you so much, Lauren.